All right, greetings everyone. We are live this Saturday night. Let me get this situated. Hold on one second, get the banner going. There we go. Bam, bam. There we go. Greetings everyone. We are live again. Dynasty Mirror Search for a Guru. Thank you so much for joining us this Saturday night. We have a special guest, but before we get started, let's go ahead and get through these announcements. Number one, tour April 19th through the 29th. Sierra Leone, come and join us again, April 19th through the 29th. Come and join us. So we got that. Actually, I'm sorry. We'll leave it. Yeah, we'll leave it on the 19th, arriving on the 20th, then leave it on the 29th. There we go. From Chicago. So hit me up if you guys are interested. If I got to check something real quick. And then also, too, Nigeria, August 16th through the 22nd, Oshun Festival. Come and join us. Again, Nigeria, August 16th through the 22nd, Oshun Festival. Come and join us, family, in Nigeria. Omo, Niger, everybody. What else do we got here? Make sure you go to dynastymirror.com. You can go to dynastymirror.com, subscribe to the page, and then make sure you join the Patreon. Patreon.com, search for Huru. And today, as we always at, like today, as we've been doing this week, Super Chat, you get a postcard, Cash App, $20, $ Amir Dynast. You get an autographed copy of one of my children's books. Without further ado, we have another author in the house, Brother Kala Genesis, called Thanos. And today, we're just going to start from the beginning and run it down Liberia. And we're going to tie that into Brother Kala's book as well. So today, we are going to really jump in and dive in to Liberia. Kala, go ahead and take it away, brother.
Well, today at my office, right? I got an echo.
Okay. Oh, you good? Go ahead.
Okay, I was at my office today, Saturday, catching up on paperwork and stuff. And one of my agents come by, right? She hadn't seen me in a month, whatever, as I got back. I said, "Oh, where'd you go? What's this place called? Liberia, right?" And I said, "I remember I told you I wrote a book." Said, "Oh, yeah, that's what it's about? Yeah." She goes, "Where's that at?" I said, "It's in West Africa, right?" And then I have a map of Liberia, a wooden carved map on my wall above my desk in my office, right? And she's looking at things. What part of Liberia was that? And I was pointing to Monrovia, Magribi, and Grand Bassa. So I was in between those three counties right there. And that's where I was at. And then she looked at the thing. She said, "Maryland?" She goes, "What? Why is there a place called Maryland in Liberia?" And I was like, she goes, I go, "Do you understand that Liberia was founded by African Americans in the 19th century?" She said, "No, I never knew that." And Maryland, state of, because she's from Maryland, right? She goes, "You mean to tell me my state of Maryland I was born in, right? We had a colony in Liberia." "Yeah, the black people in Maryland, Baltimore." I said, in Maryland, in the city of capital of Maryland, Harper City, the main street is called Baltimore Street. I said, "There's a strong connection to Baltimore, Maryland, and the Chesapeake Bay area." She goes, "I didn't know that." I said, I'm looking at the map. It says Maryland. I said, "What's the Maryland doing on an African map?" So what I'm saying is, this says it's strangely how this country, who had, which altered the whole history of Liberia, altered Pan-African politics, and have played a major role in global politics and the way the world saw Africa. At the time, most of the world saw Africa as this dark continent, someplace to be civilized by white people. That's what they thought. Most of the white people thought that we have to bring enlightenment to the natives. The black man, Africa has to be saved from the African. King Leopold and his mission in the Congo was a civilizing mission, and no matter what they did, it was better than no nothing at all. In the midst of all that, there was this little tiny republic on the west coast of Africa that was run by black people, right? That was, if you look at it, Maryland in Africa was probably the most highly advanced civilization probably in the world at the time. This was a very Christian, orderly society. Devout, hardworking people, farmers, business people, fishermen, and everything. They built stone buildings, stone temples, and stone churches, and they had a highly developed civilization, on the continent of Africa. That was past Cape Town and in Durban. They were way ahead of Cape Town in the level of civilization. They had no drunkenness. There was no crime. There was no pirates. There were no thieves and everything. It was a very orderly, civilized society. And so, therefore, that went against the notion that Africa was a savage, barbaric place that needed white people to civilize it, white Christian people to civilize it, And here was a black civilization that was doing this on their own. So what you see with the hostility towards Liberians is this. What they do is they try to convince other black people, just like they did in South Africa, right? In South Africa, what they had was they had a educated class. The whole thing is this: the educated black people, right, have always been marginalized in the black race, right? The white people know that if you cut off the head, the body will die. In Southern Africa, right, there was an educated class of Zulus, Xhosas, and Debli and all these people, and they have formed the initial ANC. But the thing is, though, their idea was Africanism, Pan-Africanism, black. They studied. Many of them had ties to black movements in America. So when they said the African National Congress, that was an African. It means Black Africans country. That was a threat. So what they had to do was make Africans think on the lines of tribalism. That's why they formed the homelands. That's why they eventually formed Inkatha. They encouraged all these different groups, dividing Africans based on language and ethnicity and everything, and gave them that identity. The official records was you were Zulu. You weren't considered black. You were considered Zulu. You were Xhosa and everything. In Liberia, they successfully created a society where everyone became Liberians. You're black, you were just assumed to be a Liberian. If anybody who came and settled in Liberia, you assimilated into this melting pot called Liberianism, and you became Liberian, whether you're from Africa. Nothing in the Liberian Constitution said anything about you had to be a Liberian. All it said was you had to be a black person, a person of African descent. And so that's the unique thing about Liberia that like the present Liberians understand. Any black man could actually become a Liberian. It was just like America. Anyone could become an American if you just come to America. But Liberia was like anyone would become a Liberian if you're black or you're the African heritage, black African heritage. You can become a Liberian. So that's one of the missteps of misconceptions about the country, that all these people came over there and there was no group of people ever called themselves American Liberians. No, there's no writing or no evidence of them calling themselves American Liberians. Why? Because there was no America at the time. America as a country, as a concept, didn't exist at the time. Right. America as a concept existed in the Northeast, among the Yankees and stuff like that. The vast majority of people call themselves Virginians, West Virginians, Carolinians, Georgians, Texans, and stuff like that. So the concept of America as a unified country didn't come until almost the 20th century, and then the Americanization of America and through Hollywood and stuff like that. Most people call themselves Irishmen, could call themselves Catholics. They call themselves anything. The concept of being America did not happen until World War I, World War II, and the advent of film and propaganda and stuff like that. So how can these people call themselves American Liberians when at the time people called themselves Virginians in America? There was no America, that was something put on.
Help me out, Kyle. I forgot her name. She's head of agriculture now in Liberia.
Janine Cooper.
She said the term American Liberian didn't come around until about the 70s.
Yeah, 70. Well, actually, the term actually was used in the 20s, right? When people wrote articles, the British wrote articles, they basically said you have to see when you guys said this is dangerous about the black race not being able to control its own narrative. When someone creates your own narrative for you, they can control you. They can define you, control you. They created this American Liberian, right? Even though most of the people by that time were mixed ancestry, Most Liberians have both backgrounds and everything. They created this straw man called a miracle Liberian, and then what happened was, they were able to divide people based on that. So in other words, you could be educated and native indigenous background, right? But you basically were presumed to be a so-called miracle Liberian because you spoke good English, stuff like that. So it was a false narrative. There was no class of people called American Liberians. That's a falsehood, you know. And what you have is you have two different kind of civilizations. You have the culture that the settlers came from America, which everyone adopted. Because you go to Liberia right now. When I went to the upcountry, Liberia, and I looked at places like New Georgia, Caldwell, and everything, those were built by the American settlers from America, right? And all the indigenous people completely assimilated with that culture. You know, Dinus, I was looking hard to find a mud hut. I could not find one.
Mhm.
I was like my last day in Liberia. I said, when we drove through Grand Bassa and through the country, I said, when am I going to see a real round mud hut? I did not see one. The country has completely assimilated with the southern black. You would think you was in the rural South in Liberia.
Right.
So what I'm saying is this though. Now you do have people who basically Africans who are very traditionalists and everything. Who, you see them out there pumping water every day. They have a traditional life. They wear the babies on their backs. They carry stuff on their heads. That's the real indigenous culture of Africa and everything like that. But the majority of people, they flux back and forth. The women that cook palm the cassava every day and stuff like that. They do that sort of life. That life is still real in Liberia. But the thing is, though, it's blended, it's hybrided with a modern way of life, which they adopted. In other words, basically, the black people from the United States brought the modern way of life to that part of West Africa. That's just the truth. So therefore, people could one day be like, okay, I'm going to school, I'm getting my education. And a lot of people want to be proud of their indigenous heritage, right? But they're caught in the middle. It's assumed that if you're modern, you're a Congo person. That means American Liberian Congo person, right?
Mhm.
And so what it tells me is that the indigenous people never really got the modern world on their own terms, which is unfortunate. Instead of building the modern world on their own, which they have a chance to do right now, right? It's almost assumed that, and this is another thing about Africa, right? And this is the sad part about Africa. Anytime, when in Japan, the Japanese are rule Japan, right? They
Right.
want things the old way, right? And then there was the modern cities and everything. They understood we got to modernize. What they did was adapt. They said, okay, Japanese spirit, modern technology, right? And so they moved from just traditional way of making to building factories, right? It was the same spirit, right? But somehow we as black people, right? Black people, we say we want to keep the same techniques, right?
Right.
We have never made. We're the only group of race of people that have never made that transition to modernization, right? That's why we cannot produce cloth and stuff like that on a large scale. It's just so expensive. Like making at times we're making African cloth the traditional way, and we have never figured out how to do that, right? And so, in other words,
Right.
basically, how do we modernize Africa, right? When is the black race going to accept the reality that we're not going to go back to the 15th century? You ever notice that?
Right.
So when are we going to modernize? Okay, electricity is not going anywhere. Power is not going anywhere. Fuels are, the world's moving on behind. I was disheartening when I see the Fanti fishermen right out there. Do you know in the 1970s, Richard Tolbert had one of the largest fleets of fishing fleets in the world? That
Mhm.
Liberia was exporting shrimp and fish to Japan around the world. Modern fishing fleets, right? Called the Meserado fisheries. They have fisheries and cold storage in Maryland County and everything. They're exporting shrimp around the world. You know, and I look at the Fanti boats. I see them out there, and I was like, I see them out there, and they're still fishing. They've got
Are these the same Fanti that are in Ghana?
yeah. The Fanti fishermen, the crew fishermen, they say they sail to fishing boats, and they be out there for hours. I'm like, there's got to be a better way. Why don't you keep the same spirit, right, and get motorized craft? But right off the coast, you got the Chinese and everybody else raping your flag because Africa has rich fishing grounds. You know, when are we going to make that transition to modernization? Liberia tried. You know, they had a modern fishing fleet. They said, look, the way forward is modernization. You know, it's not. I mean, you could keep your traditional way of thinking, but you know, at some point in time, you got to modernize. You know, if you don't got to modernize, we're going to be left behind, and that's unfortunate with the Africans. We black people, Africans for the most part, are very superficial. You know, we have what we call sacred cows. I talked about this, right? What are sacred cows? Sacred cows are beliefs and ideas and superstitions that one holds on to their own detriment. Those are called sacred cows. And where does it come from? In the Hindu. The Hindus don't believe their cows are sacred. They could be sitting there starving, right? And they won't kill the cow and eat it because they believe the cow is sacred. That's their ancestors, you know? And that's what's called sacred cows. We as black race, we have sacred cows. You know, okay, when you have one of the fishing boats, okay, great, that's good. You navigate out there, that's beautiful. But if you really want to build fish production up, why don't we say, okay, crew and fancy spirit, but modern technique, like the Japanese did? Why don't we invest in learning how to do real fishing boats and everything and maritime usage, so we could build a modern fleet and build a modern fishing industry, which we could export and start competing on a global scale as far as fish. You know, if you're out there for 10 hours and you just got a little haul that you're selling at the market, you know, I mean, come on, you know. So that's the battle of the black race, you know.
Hey, Carl, Great African had a question. Where did the term Congo people come from?
The Congo people come from the fact that there were Congo people that were captured at the high seas, right? That were captured by American slave ships, right? The American Navy captured American slave ships. The British captured American slave ships, right? And what they would do was, right, they would impound the ship and they would give the ship to Liberia, right? And they would basically pay the Liberian colonial government at the time $25 per head to take any recaptured and settle there. Now, this is the thing. These Congos were coming from mostly from the Congo, right? Some of them were coming from Biafra, the brighter Biafra. Some of them were coming as far as Mozambique, right? And Liberia was a dumping ground. Every time you have a slave capture ship, right? A capture slave ship, you had to have some place to put the slave. They didn't bring them back to their place of origin. They dumped them in Liberia. And the local Liberians became called them Congo people, right? Mm-hmm. Right? And then those people assimilated with the new settlers. See, when the settlers came, right, they were outnumbered, right? The Congo people came, right, that were liberated the ship, right? They quickly adopted the African black Western way of life. They said, okay, we like your frame houses, we like the schools, we like the church. We adopted. So they became part of the returning class, right? Over the time, the native Liberians began calling all of them Congos, right? They began calling all the people, whether you're from America or you recaptured, right? Congo. If you came from Nigeria, you were Congo, you know? If you came from Haiti, you were Congo. If you came from Panama, you were Congo. So they call all foreigners Congos, you know? That's where the term comes from. They call them Congo people, right? Or Kui people, means civilized people. The people that dominate the coast, you know, the civilized people on the coast. You know, they call them Congo people, you know? And then what happened was in the 1940s, right? Edwin Barclay and Tubman said, you know something? You know, at first the so-called American Liberians, whatever, didn't like the term, right? And then what happened was in the Pan-African movements of the post-World War II, right? There was this push in Liberia to identify more with Africa, right? As the African roots, right? So Tubman said, you know something? We're Congo people. We'll call ourselves Congo people. They didn't like. They began telling the international media that they were Congo people. They were not American Liberians. We're not Americans. We're Congos. So that was a way of them solidifying their place in Africa. We're the Congo people of Liberia. You know, the Congo people. You know, Congo. So they try to get away from this idea that they were Americans supplanted in Africa. They said we're just part of the returning Africans that come here. So they began. There was rumor that Kwame Nkrumah is actually a Liberian. You know, Kwame Nkrumah is actually Liberian. You know, from the Kru tribe. And
Really?
Yeah. So people say Kwame Nkrumah, and Nkrumah is actually a Liberian name. You know, that's what they say. That's a rumor. that Kwame Nkrumah is actually Sierra Leone and Liberian. He's part Sierra Leone and Liberian, and stuff like that. So that's what I heard. I never substantiate that. People send me evidence. Is that Kwame Nkrumah is actually his ancestors in Freetown and Monrovia. They ended up in Ghana. He said Nkrumah is not a Ghanaian.
I'm reading this right now. Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, the first president of Ghana, is not Ghanaian, but a Liberian born to a Liberian father known as Kofi Inuia and Nia Nimba. The woman we have been reading in the history books as his mother brother adopted Kwame Nkrumah when he first came to Ghana. A former Gold Coast politician, Joshua Etta Korshuria, has alleged. Oh, wow.
Yeah, there's a lot of that rumors. There's still needs more investigation, but there's a lot of people that say Kwame Nkrumah is actually Liberian. That's what they say. So and also people don't realize that the Organization of African Union was formed in Liberia, Saniquelli. I'm unfortunate that I didn't get to go to Saniquelli on this trip, but I definitely want to go there next time I go to Liberia. That's definitely something. We go to Liberia at the same time, Dinus, and we got to make that trek. That's in Nimba County. That's where this OAU was formed. On a hunch. People thought it's just like when the Declaration of Independence was written, right? People, it was the most egregious document. Are you claiming your independence from the King of England? People thought they were insane. Just like when people said the True Whig Party of Liberia said, "Look, let's meet with Sekou Toure and Kwan. See what happens. Let's talk about a government. Let's talk about a government for the whole entire continent." And nobody knew how it was going to turn out. Imagine that. Just like when we formed the BAO, we don't know how it's going to turn out. Then now it's growing, right? But you just never know. Like when you started search for Huru, you didn't know how. You're not feeling you got. How's this going to go over? How are people going to take this? When you first started your YouTube channel, right? You didn't know. You didn't know how successful it was going to be. It was the same way when Sekou Toure and Kwame Nkrumah and Tubman met in Saniquelli. And they said, look, we talk about Tubman of this African American slave descendant and Sekou Toure and Kwame Nkrumah, they all met and said, we're all black men, we're all Africans, and they're educated enough to understand, our fate is tied together. Let's form a continent. And to this day, we don't have that one government of Africa. That's why Africa's suffering right now. We don't have that powerful government that can supply and protect and provide for the whole entire continent, because everybody's got their little boundaries carved off by the Europeans and everything, and everybody gets invited to their little big dinners like that clown Museveni and whatnot. All it is about them showing up to the big dinners and saying hi to the Chinese and the Lebanese and the Europeans and looking big and looking important, and nobody gives a damn. You see what happened in Sierra Leone yesterday, right?
What happened?
Riots are breaking out.
In Sierra Leone?
Yeah, not Sierra Leone, Senegal.
Okay, yeah, Senegal. I'm about to say Sierra Leone. Oh man,
get the two mixed up. Senegal.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, it's over the so I guess one of the opposition leaders was arrested, and they just went.
You know how I know? It's very easy. If you, like I said, T.I. didn't understand this, right? If you're a man of importance, you gotta lead. You can't be led with your dick. You gotta be.
Yeah, they were saying that he allegedly raped a woman.
Yeah, but you know how that goes. It's his word, and that's all the government needs, right? If that guy's a threat, they're gonna arrest him. He's probably gonna die in jail, and that's what it is. And people are angry. And what gets me is this: you have Africa. They have 4-year elections. Like 4 years. You give a corrupt government 4 years. That's a lifetime. In America, something like that. Why do you think Jerry Rawlings? Do you understand why Jerry Rawlings overthrew a democratically elected government? I think twice. The military. Ghana was the country was so corrupt, right, that the military stepped in, and Jerry Rawlings had people executed. The reason why is because people think we have this way of thinking that if you have an election, right, that legitimizes it. No, it doesn't. People have not read. You need to read. People don't say, "Oh, can't read to Western." Look, if you're talking about nation states and nation building, you got to go where this all started, right? You got to read Socrates. You got to read Aristotle. You got to read Plato. And all these things that were discussed 2,500 years ago is playing out right now. It's playing out right now. I said the other day when people talked about laughed at me and said, "Colin, we talking about Animal Farm, right?" Yes, read Animal Farm. If you haven't read Animal Farm, you would know how things work. Politics is so screwed. If you look at American politics right now, and I can't, we're black people in America are not in any position to judge.
Hey, Colin, we're getting our stimulus checks.
Oh wow, I never got one. You know, I don't know what happened. They never sent me one. You know, so I'm not even care about it. And also, you got a whole bunch of people. And look, let me tell you something. You really sell your soul for a goddamn stimulus check? You know, you got people out there. My stimulus check, my stimulus check, whatnot. I mean, is that all it's worth? Is your soul? Do you understand what that little stimulus check they're going to give you? Do you know how much power these Democrats are going to have? They have a power to remake the world. These people are not popular, right? They don't like Dr. Seuss. You got Michelle Obama with Dwayne Wade's son congratulating on his transition to be a little girl, you know? And I was like, these people.
But I know it's crazy. Why are people quiet? People are quiet about that. Like,
people know why? Because people are so beaten down. People know this is insanity.
Colin, Colin, how can I don't get it, Colin. Like, people, especially the Obama supporters and Michelle slayed. She slayed inauguration day. She slayed. Like, they're quiet about that.
The bottom line, because the bottom line is this is what I'm told. They know the average person, black person. Nobody, they got white people thinking if they speak out, they're racist, right? You got black people, like, they just so browbeat you. It's a shame to see American people, the American public is so beaten down by these insane people. Do you understand what you're talking about? Men doing, grown men doing girl sports. You could be a 40-year-old man, but you decide to self-identify as a 16-year-old girl. You could join a girls' track team. Do you know how insane this is? And no one says, and I'm saying to myself,
hey, Colin, in California, there's a bill that they're thinking about passing where there will no longer be like a girl or boys clothes section or girl or boy toys.
I heard about that. No longer boys and girls toy section, stuff like that, And I'm saying to myself, and not only that, you had Debbie Milivano, the singer, say gender reveal parties is transphobic. Hey, Dynas, man, I miss being in Liberia. I miss doing that. You know something? I tell you what, another year, in spite of all the infrastructure and everything, I might just say, I had enough and get the hell out of here, man. And people say, is it racism? No, it got no goddamn. I'll take racism, white supremacy any goddamn day, other than this freaking crazy shit that we're going through. Am I lying, Dynas? I could deal with racism. I cannot deal with this other crazy stuff that I see going on. Racism, white supremacy. I don't give a shit. As long as I'm making money and no cop is shooting me, what the fuck I care about no racism, white supremacy? I go into the store today when white people, I don't say nothing. I don't make eye contact. I don't say nothing to them, I got a total 4 white friends, in this world. I got 4 white friends, but 4 or 5 white people I know I'm cool with. Other than that, man, I'm not trying to make any new friends and everything like that. Just leave me the hell alone, So I'm not trying to change the world. Look, you are not going to change these people. You're not going to solve anything. So don't tell me I gotta solve America's problems. It's never going to end. But I do know this: a man's a man, a woman's a woman, right? It's best to see when I turn on the TV, I want to see black couples on television and everything. I'm sick of seeing white boys serenading black women on television commercials. I'm sick of seeing that. Because I know what they're trying to push. They're trying to push this idea that there is no race and all stuff like that. That's insane. That's insane. That's not what Martin Luther King fought for. That's not what Malcolm X fought for. And bottom line, if you don't have an identity as a people, you don't know who you are, then the bottom line, you're not gonna survive as a people. They don't want us to
guys, make sure you hit that like button. Please hit that like button again. Please hit that like button. But I mean, this is how old is he? 10? I don't want to talk. We can't. I don't want to talk about the kid.
12 years old. 12. At first, when I saw that, right, I said Zaya Wade, right? I didn't know who it was. I thought it was a girl, right?
And but it's not even that. It's just I don't understand why. And was it like a full interview?
Yeah, she was saying girl power and all stuff like that. Congratulations with trans. And,
I just don't understand how anybody. It's just after this.
You know why?
I don't understand how black people support the Obamas. I don't get it.
You know why? Because the black people. This is how it is. This is how it is in a nutshell, right? everybody has this is what the dangers about social media, right? Everybody is scared of being canceled. You know, we don't have independent black media. We don't. I remember it's about the new black media, new black media. I said, didn't I say this, Dinus? Right, and I was right. I said the new black media ain't shit. You know, because one, they didn't take a stand on the election last time. It was very clear that we let the Democrats win, we're gonna lose forever. I said that. Didn't I say that? How many times I said that? The Democrats won, and the black people they're flooding the borders. Joe Biden's opening the country up, man. What little jobs that you thought you might have, you can forget it. Your social status of Black America is going. Where black people are going to be completely irrelevant. Another 10 years, black people.
Because I'm just looking like Michelle. I'm just like Michelle Obama. How can you condone this? Like, how can you
remember something? You remember something, right? There was very rumors going around.
Well, I'm not gonna get. I know, but I don't. We can't. We can't do that on YouTube. I know where you're going to, but on YouTube we just can't. In fact, let's get back to Liberia because Let's just get back. Let's get back to the glory days of Liberia.
Okay, glory.
Go ahead.
Yeah, the glory days of Liberia. Like I said, yeah, the republic. It was a republic. People don't really understand something. Liberia. When you look at Liberia from a standpoint of a chieftaincy, it's not a chieftaincy. That's the arguments I have with a lot of Liberians. When you talk to them, you think it's a chieftaincy, you know? You think it's a kingdom, you know? You think it's a village, right? And you know how when you talk to somebody who thinks of a village mentality, they think of it as village. They don't understand what a republic is, a republic of laws. And say, well, the majority, let me give you an example. Let's say majority. Okay, let's talk about the majority. The majority of people in America, right, aren't millionaires, right? But guess what? The millionaires and billionaires run this country.
Right.
That's the way it is. And what they do is they give you a trickle down and you benefit from it. That's what's called a middle class. You know, this idea that the majority has to rule is a freaking nonsense. The majority has gives you a mandate and a consensus of what's called a social contract, right? There's no such thing as majority rule. That's a farce. People say majority rule. Like, majority rule is nothing. We have a country of laws and institutions and policies and everything that is voted, agreed upon, circumstances and policies that everybody agrees upon. Without that, you have nothing. So this idea that majority rule, that's mob rule. Majority rule and mob rule are two different things. Majority means, okay, this has been voted on. And also, if the majority is also, you have to have the people have to be almost like 90% in agreement on 90% of the stuff. Like in America, do you agree that America is a republic? Yes. Do you agree America has 50 states? Yes. Do you agree America's borders between Mexico and the United States? Yes. Do you agree that people born outside of America are not Americans? Yes. You agree on those things right here. You believe that people have to be square allegiance to the country? Yes. All these things. Once you agree, once 90% of people agree on that, right, then it's very easy to solve a problem. Well, what do? Somebody comes across the border is breaking the law. They need to be deported, right? But what you have now in America is the social media and the media is canceling people left and right. People can't even agree that America is a country anymore. That's dangerous, you know. So therefore, the Border Patrol has no authority to enforce the laws, you know, and that's what the problem is. That's the problem that happened in Liberia when you basically try to delegitimize the republic, right? Now, used to be a time when you said sedition, right? That sedition, you were hung. It used to be a time, you know, it was sedition and what's it called? Subversive activities and sedition. There used to be a time in America, right, where you were a jail for seditious act, you know? I remember, do you remember the case of Sacco and Vanzetti? Okay, this is a case where two peddler, a shoemaker and a peddler of Italian descent, they were anarchists, right? And unfortunately, they were tried in Boston for murder, right? But even though there was no evidence against them, right, their views became public, right? And they were anarchists. They didn't believe in government. Like a lot of Italians at the time that came here from Italy, they were anarchists. They believed that the government has authority, that you could have your own justice and everything like that. The state really has no authority to tax you or anything like that. They were anarchists. So they were tried on their beliefs, right? And they were sentenced to death. And to this day, if you look up Sacco and Vanzetti, people say, well, geez, did we learn a lot about that, right? Yeah, they, even though they were innocent, the idea of anarchy scared the American public, right? The idea that people don't believe that the society should exist, that the rule of law shouldn't exist. This is what happens in a lot of African countries, right? Where one group of people, when somebody's in power that they don't like, right? What they try to do is delegitimize them by saying, "Oh, my tribe or my group, I didn't really, we didn't really agree to this," or like what happened in Biafra, the Nigeria war. What happened was Biafra said, you know something, when they notice that happens when they discovered oil, we don't believe in this Nigeria thing now, but we're going to succeed from the Republic. Nigeria was a creation of Lord Lugard and everything. So we don't, it's a bad experiment, whatever. We don't want nothing to do with the North and everything. And then the rest of Nigeria said, no, you're not going no place. We agreed that we're going to have a republic. You ain't going any place. You're not succeeding. And that's what happened. Same thing is happening right now in Ethiopia. Every little ethnic group is trying to delegitimize the republic. You understand how this works, Linus? When you try to delegitimize the republic for your own tribal and ethnic gain. That's what happened in Liberia. And then Liberia was hurt by the fact that it was the Western media. Unlike what's going on in Ethiopia, where it's organic, right? You can't blame that on the Western media. Social media, there's guys on social media now making threats, right? And this one girl sent me a thing, said, post this out, and I posted out. This guy's on social media making threats about genocide and stuff. So there's really a real thing. People are scared of ethnic tensions and stable Kenya, right? Social media has a lot of Kenyans on edge, Dinus, because people on social media making threats and stuff like that, and people saying, well, that's what they really think and whatnot. Oh, I'm scared to go around them, whatnot. Coley, oh man, I don't know. Social media is bringing out the worst in people. Socialization. You go down the street, you may not see anything, right? But when you get up, you look outside. Oh, that's what they really think over there. Wow, man, I better watch my back. I better start arming myself. Social media has gotten Africa and the black race really amped up. Everybody's into their little tribal column, and people think that something could erupt at any time based on tribal lines, or this idea of delegitimizing authority. And so, and the same thing happened. They trying to do that in Rwanda, but in Rwanda, you have a leader that's not playing games, Paul Kagame is not playing games. Rwanda, they watch social media, and the thing is, if you're going to pull your Rwanda, you have to have yourself in the Congo. You got a lot of Rwandan rebels and everything making threats online in the Congo. So like, yeah, we can't wait to bum rush the coast and burn, kill, and destroy. That's what they said. They're going to burn. They can't wait to get there and start fucking shit up in Kigali, They're in the Congo. What all Kagame needs is one of those drones, those little predator drones, We ought to take up a collection, Dinus, right? Raise money for unmanned drones and the robots. Robots. You have robot soldiers now. That can go into the bush, right, and pinpoint and shoot every one of those bastards in the Congo dead.
No, okay, guys, listen. The views and expressions of College Genesis is not. That's not the views and opinion. I'm sorry. The views and the opinions of College Genesis is not the views and opinions of Search for Who. All right, go ahead, Colin. Go ahead.
Okay, so basically, what I'm saying, my whole point I'm saying is this. At one point, do we basically say that we as a black race will submit to the rule of law? I don't know. I mean, every last single government in Africa, the only way they rule is by force. There's no government that can say, I got the complete support of my citizen. It's like one slip up in any country, and next thing you know, hey, what's happened? They're celebrating the overthrow of such and such, right? And next thing you know, you see the president being dragged through the streets and whatnot, And wow, that was just a stable country. Look at what Sierra, Central African Republic, 2 years ago, the colonizer. See, this is what I'm talking about. Todd Meek, come on the show. Come on the show so I can give you a whooping, Come on the show, Todd Meek. That's not a colonizer. That's putting your foot up your ass, Black people either you're going to be controlled by and ruled by black authority, African mentality, or the white man, the Chinese, or somebody else going to come in there and govern you. Well, the problem is, how is it that how could a one race colonize the same race? You understand what colonizer is? Colonizer is some country. They don't even know what the word colonial means. That means a mother country goes and makes colonies out of another people and make it part of that. How you a lot of people are ignorant, illiterate, low education people don't even know what the word colonizer means. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. Africa needs, somebody said Africa needs strong men. Yeah, we need strong men. We need strong leaders on the continent. Leaders that's going to basically, that are nationalistic, that's going to carry things out and make sure things are right. That's what we need at this point in time, because these elections back and forth and everything, people elected each other on tribalism. That's what's happening. That's what happened in Liberia. That's what's still happening in Liberia, And like I said, I'm pleased that there's a lot of Liberians moving towards private sector and private sector growth and stuff like that, which I think is the way of the future. Because I like I said, governments are a big giant bureaucracy, and people are basically surviving. What I saw in Liberia, they're surviving without the government. If the government can't even do the basic, like provide electricity, what good are they? People.
Guys, hit that like button again. Please hit the like button. Also, too, when you super chat, you get a postcard, and when you Cash App $ Amir Dinas for the book, you get an autographed copy. Which is when you Cash App me, I need your email me your address after you Cash App me. Email me your address. Cash App $20. I'm sorry, that's the number. $20. It's in the chat room. Bam, there we go. That's the Cash App. Guys, we're gonna open up the lines and take some callers. Please call in Uhuru at search4uhuru.com, Uhuru at search for Uhuru.com, Uhuru at search for Uhuru.com. Let's see here. Kyle, let's get back to Liberia.
Okay. Now, Rachel Aldenis. You heard of him?
Yeah, the Sundown branch.
Yeah, Sundown. Okay.
He also and I didn't know this. So he had back in they still actually have the name of they actually have there's a line of soaps and shampoo called Nubian Heritage.
Right.
And so back before I left Atlanta for LA, back in this is 2008, that's all I used to use. And on the box it said Black owned and proud of it, right? Yeah. Then I noticed one day that the Black owned and proud of it was no longer on the box.
Of course, yeah.
Right. And so then I looked I don't know why. I was like, okay, did somebody buy out Nubian Heritage? Who even owned it? So I correlate Richelieu Dennis with Shea Moisture. So I don't know what it was. A couple of weeks ago, I was in the store and I saw Nubian Heritage soap, and I Googled Nubian Heritage owner. And at one time, it was owned by Richelieu Dennis.
Right. Richelieu Dennis. He's I hate that term, Congo. He's a Congo person. He's a Congo person, right? He left Liberia in 1987, fleeing for his life. That's what's a shame. He's part of the Dennises. Dennis is a prominent family. The Dennises, the Coopers, the Maximores, the Peabodys. These are prominent, powerful families in Liberia. And so he went to the United States as a refugee, right? And then he made himself big, right? And so also, there's a lot of Liberians who say, well, he don't give back to Liberia. He tries to and everything, just like Bob Johnson, And then when it ain't but so much that you get hurt, right, that you just say, forget it. Now, my boy Ross was telling me that he took 400 African Americans, investors and business people to Ghana, right, to do business. Now, Ghana seems to be the hot spot as far as the return, right?
Yeah.
And Ghana has a monopoly on the African American return, And one of the problems is, and I've done a good job because since my trip and everything, so many people say Liberia is going to be the first country I go to Africa. They just it's scholar. You convinced me. I want to go to Liberia. That's the country because of the history. It's exciting. Yeah, it is exciting. Be proud of that. People say, "What was to be proud of?" Look, white people and everybody will go to Cape Town, right, where Nelson Mandela was locked the hell up, right? They will go to the Transvaal where the Voortrekkers were, right? They'll go to Krugerland National Park, still named Krugerland, right? And you'll like it, right? No one gives a damn. The white people are still in South Africa. The apartheid white people and everything still South Africa. They weren't driven out. They weren't killed. They weren't anything. And you still go to South Africa. Everybody still goes to South Africa. They're just like, well, you just have something you have to deal with. Why, when it comes to Liberia, which was a misunderstanding, oh, I can't go there. Isn't that where we went over there and we oppressed the natives? You shut your bug-eyed Negro self up, whatnot, you know? Like you had some ability to oppress somebody, you know? And so bottom line is this. If you can go to any country in the world, right? People go to Germany. People talk about Nazism when they go to Germany. And I'm not trying to compare Liberia to the thing, but I'm just trying to see the mentality. You know, people will make any excuse to distance themselves from that history of Liberia. Yes, your ancestors were settled on the continent, resettled there, and built a republic. That's something you cannot erase that history. That's very significant. Just like you have the slave castles, that's our ancestors being ripped from the continent. But there's also a history, a 200-year history of return. And next year marks the 200 years of the return.
Yep.
We're going to be in like 200 years of return. And we're going to mark it. The whole entire year is going to be a celebration of the 200-year return to Liberia. And so, therefore, that history is part of your history. You need to embrace it. Like I told my one of my agents today, I said, yeah, you're from Maryland. You should know the history of Maryland and Africa. She's like, I'm going to get that. I'm going to learn that. Yeah. There's a whole lot. When people start learning this history, like, wow, that's exciting. You know, okay, you know, I didn't know that. So what I'm saying is that embracing that part of your heritage is good. And it's ownership. You know, you should not have to walk around, right? And like me, when I walk around now, right?
Right.
White people see my Liberian thing, and I've been in Liberia. I know that's an experience they're never gonna have. I got something that they don't have. I got a connection to a place they're never gonna have a connection to. You know, so therefore, yeah, and that's very unique. And to me, Liberia is very unique because of the history. I'll say, yeah, my ancestors from here, from Georgia and Carolina, settled there in the 19th century. Oh, really? Yeah. And so I got ties. I got family ties there because like that. Oh, you mean to tell me you got something besides America? Yes, I got something besides America, right? And then from there, we got other parts of Africa. I can go to Congo. I can go to Angola, South Africa. Yes, I got something besides there. You know, I'm not just Captain Black America. You know, they want us all to be Captain Black America. And the Captain Black America is a thing. Is going to be a thing in the past, and that's why I would say Pan Africanism and learning your history and everything, because we're beyond American. You know, we're beyond what's American. And so, like I said, that's what I wanted to say about that. And another thing, you asked me about the returning the Congos, right?
Right.
It's amazing how, and also it's happened in Sierra Leone too, right? When people were recaptured from the interior, right? The interior, and they were basically liberated, right? Why didn't they go back to the interior and do their thing? When they get to Freetown, they wanted to stay there. That happened in Freetown too. When the British would recapture people they tried to smuggle slaves, and they were recapturing them, they didn't go back to the villages. They said, I guess whatever we were doing wasn't working. So they said, look, let's try this new way of life. So they began to go to school and educate themselves and start wearing different clothing. And they modernized. And on that coastline between Freetown and Liberia, Monrovia, that was the birthplace of modern Africa. You know, modern Africa was born. And also in Lagos, Nigeria, and parts of Jamestown, Accra. You know, that was the birthplace of modern Africa. You know, modern Africa won. You know, tribal Africa lost, modern Africa won. Now we have to figure out how do we basically reconcile the two, because we as a race, we're far behind the rest of the world. We're far behind Asia. We're far behind. I don't know if we're far ahead of Latin America. You know, Latin America's a mess. You know, because I look at Latin America. Latin America's a mess, but we're no nothing to brag about. But Honduras, they say there's nothing there. You know, you got caravans of people coming up to go to America. You know, And so I don't know if Africa. I think Africa is at least better than South America. South America is a mess. And
all right, Liberia. Let's get back on Liberia.
Okay. So what I'm saying is this though. Kala is a racist against Liberians. Who are these people, Dinus? Either they come on or you
just ignore them, Kala. Just ignore them. Okay.
So the whole thing is like I'm trying to say is this: if you learn the history of Liberia, it's something very, very to be proud of. And like I said, I'm proud of both sides of the equation. I love the indigenous people. I love the settler culture and everything like that. I just think it's a beautiful culture, a beautiful history thing. Now, as far as my book, right? My book is called Journey to the Promised Land, Voyage of the Bark Azor, right? And I met with Steve Talbert when I was there, right? His family came on the Azor in 1878. And him and I had a long conversation when I was there. He said, he said he thanked me for writing the book and everything. And you met him. Did you meet him when you was over there, Steve Talbert?
Yeah. He came. I didn't have the opportunity to interview him, but he came through to the. He was dropping jewels too. It's just when he came over.
I didn't know he was so big, man. That dude's tall, man. He's huge.
Yeah. He's tall. Yeah.
Man, so he basically was dropping some jewels. And what gets me is this, like Rachel L. Dennis. We'll talk about Rachel L. Dennis, right? Rachel L. Dennis is an American Liberian, right? But Rachel L. Dennis is a Pan-Africanist, right? You would think the Liberians would be like, oh, we got to get him back and everything, right? Okay, he did some work in Liberia. But when you go to now we're trying to reach out to Rachel L. Dennis. Our team, Liberia chapter of the BAL, we're trying to reach out to Rachel L. Dennis and everything. A lot of people, like when they go to Liberia and they get a bad experience, it's like, oh, forget this place, right? My friend Adolphus Brady is in Accra right now. He's just like, he just completely like, I'm in Ghana. And Liberia has so much potential, but you cannot let the ignorant Liberians, particularly ones on Facebook, deter you, right? Because hurt people hurt. A lot of people are hurt and bitter and everything and stuff like that. So we cannot let that happen. We have to take ownership of our history of this country. Why should Ghana and these countries get all our attention? Why? Why? Rachel L. Dennis took 400 investors and business people to Ghana, right? And I guess after the experience what Bob Johnson had in Liberia, he's just like, well, we'll forget it. They're not ready for that and everything. But like I said, the problem was working with the government. If you just work in the private sector in Liberia, you're fine because there's so many Liberians on the ground that's doing so much work and stuff like that. You would do good. But if you just look at the government of Liberia and politicians and everything like that, and the politics of Liberia, and the Facebook politicians and everything, you're gonna think it's thing. But I just don't think that we should abandon this country at all. I plead with people, give Liberia a chance, and just basically, there's a lot of hurt. People are gonna say things gonna piss you off, whatever like that. But just leave it alone and just understand. That's what I did. I didn't know how it was gonna turn out when I went there. I didn't know how I was gonna be received, but I was received really well. The people there just embraced me, and the people on the ground were just so friendly. They were so good people. I was just so happy, I was just so excited to be there. And I said to myself, man, these are good people. It's a good country. It's worth it. I said, don't let the politicians and the people you hear on Facebook and the YouTube deter you. This is a good country, a good place to build and everything. But like I was saying about Rachel Dennis and everything like that, he's a billionaire. He bought Madam C.J. Walker's
estate. That's a beautiful property too.
Yeah, it is. And I'm saying to myself, we have so much to build on. Madam C.J. Walker, the history of Liberia, this Rachel, he basically calls himself African American. He's basically like that. We have so much that we look. There's so many people. This is another thing, Dinus. What we need to do is start compartmentalizing. Yeah, that word. Go ahead. Right. Check this out. Let's start line all our winning people up, right? So therefore, we know how to distinguish between people who are progressive and doing things we are, and the Michelle Obama and the Obamas.
Right.
You see what I mean? Right now, you ask the question, why are people not saying nothing? People don't know where to begin. They'll stop where to begin. Because it's like this. If you say something about this, right? Well, geez, last week. So we don't know where right and wrong is wrong. Because there's nobody saying drawing lines. Drawing lines. We can't talk about building anything and everything if you can't agree that a boy is born a boy and a girl is born a girl. You know, if you can't agree that right is right and wrong and stuff like that, if you can't do that, then what can we do? One thing I did love when I was over there in Africa, and I know you've been in other parts of Africa, right? There was never any discussion about a boy being a girl. There's not even a topic of conversation. So what is it about America that's got black people? And why is it that we always thought this stuff was crazy white people did this stuff?
No, we're the face of it now.
Well, how did that happen? How the hell did that happen? You know? How are we
we always thought like Marilyn Manson. But now we became the face of it.
They have to do that. They have to get us involved in it because simply you cannot have anything without having black people the face of it. So anytime you see a black celebrity, right? Every time I see a black celebrity, my red flags are raised. Okay, what is your ulterior motive, right? You give it time. They won't say it initially, right?
Right.
And then, after about a year, after you embrace them and everything, you've seen them on television and everything, and then blow. Oh my God, that's what you that's what you were all about?
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're all about. So like I said, this is a thing about my book, Journey to the Promised Land. In 1870, what's unique about the Exodus of 1878 was this. And this basically, if you read my novel, right, what I was doing was challenging the norm of American history, the narrative of Black America and American history. If you look at American history, the way it's taught, you would think that basically after slavery, we were just sitting around waiting to be integrated and accepted by white people. And what happened was when they withdrew the troops from the South, an all-out war was waged against ex-slaves, massacre after massacre. The Wilmington Massacre of 1898, right? Black people, black townships were burned down, killed, and everything. So in the backdrop of that, right, there was some black people said, you know something, it's time for us to leave this country at all for all thing. At the time, there were no black Captain American Negroes here. Nobody believed in no dang Constitution. Most white people didn't care about the Constitution and everything, right? Only thing white people cared about is their local sheriff and whoever, and how much money they had and whatever, and the power they had over black people. That was all it was about. Nobody cared about America and stuff like that. That was just something in the abstract. So black people at that time were very clear. We don't have a future in America. Now, some people said, well, look what we have right here. Okay, we did build a middle class. We did have working class, but it had limits. It was finite. We had jobs in the 60s, 70s, 80s. It was finite. Now, the whole thing is this. We have a large numbers of black people here that Black America, the culture, who we are as a people, is falling. The bottom is falling out. We're losing our minds in this culture. We're losing our minds in America. We're losing our identity. We're losing who we are. They say, well, and it's hard to defend. And my whole thing was, for writing this book was, I do believe that we should have left this country when we had the chance. That's my real belief. And when I wrote this book, right, it's very clear that yes, that was the right thing to do. But the America worship in us, right, make it seem like America is this exceptional country, and all things are going to eventually work itself out. Well, are they working itself out? Did you see a rapper getting shot on I-85 in Atlanta the other day?
Yeah, dude. Atlanta's out of control, Kala. Atlanta's just.
I worry about you, bro. And I'm saying to myself, every day rappers and black people are getting gunned down. I mean, every day people are dropping dead like flies through gun violence and everything.
Right.
Black America is out of control. Now, I thought that after the Orange Man got out of office, right, it just shows you right here.
And you know what? So there's a Facebook group I'm part of, and I put that because there was a lady who just got robbed at gunpoint right up the street from me at a gas station. Mm-hmm. And I said I thought all this was gonna end once we got rid of the Orange Man. Oh man, they was mad. They were so mad. I'm like I thought when Georgia turned blue that this is
everything
was coming. Yeah, when Georgia turned blue.
It's all
I thought this is going to turn. I thought this is the Black Mecca and Georgia's blue. I thought this is going to be paradise.
It's not like that.
I thought this was going to be Oz. You know what I mean? Or whatever the cities are where there's just Wakanda. No crime and just peace. Wakanda. I thought it was going to be Wakanda. Yeah. I thought when Georgia turned blue, Atlanta was going to turn into Wakanda.
No, bro. Every day it's like this. The bottom line
Hey,
is
Colin, it's All-Star Weekend here in Atlanta, so I'm pretty sure tonight something else is gonna happen. And
okay, yeah, there'll be a death toll, by the time the weekend is over with. You know what I'm saying? How big? Yeah, it's anytime a holiday comes around, man, you better bunker down. It's like, okay, I'll wait it out. We got 3 days of holidays. Oh, okay, good. I'll come out after that. Gunshots, killings, murder, and everything. And Black America is the bottom is dropping out. And the whole thing is this: they stirred up all this anger last year. George Floyd. Now they're basically saying, you got all these people angry, you got them out there and everything. And they know for a fact of the matter is you're not going to lash out at white people. You're going to take that anger out on each other. They know it. They know it and everything. So they know, okay, we got Orange Man out of office and everything. All right, you black person. Then you find out that $85 million that Black Lives Matter made, none of it went to the black people. There's white corporations that have Black Lives Matter LLCs.
did you hear that Michael Brown's father is demanding 21? I'm like, good thing, it was like something like 21 million. Like, you ain't gonna get that money. Like, stop.
Yeah, I say the bottom line is you're not gonna get it. And like I said, the peace of mind that I have, right? And I was talking to some of my friends in Angola today, and they're basically like, yes, I said, look, my mind is like on Africa and the continent and building on Africa because I don't see any future. And also they say, well, look, the bottom line is this: Black America is in serious trouble. And the money is not going to have your stimulus check. That stimulus money is not going to solve it, right? Reparations is not going to solve it. There's something about the people that basically we're just living in a culture that basically is just debased and devoid of anything. And also, like I said, like dude, what's it, Lakeith Stanfield? He said, main thing is that just white people, they just won't leave us alone. They won't. We got to be the face of all that nonsense and everything.
Oh, listen to Great African. Great African says, when the economy's down, crime goes up. Orange Man. Everything is Donald Trump's fault.
The economy was booming and everything. The crime was actually down under Trump. Now, the bottom line is, look, since January, there's been almost 80 homicides in the city of Philadelphia. It's look, in Norfolk, Virginia, man, it's become little Chicago's and little Phillies down here. It wasn't like this like 10, 15 years ago. Even 5 years ago. It's Black America is just getting the culture we listen to, the music we listen to, and the very worst people are putting out music on. And like I said, when I was in Liberia, Dynasty, the music, right? Everything, all I'm hearing is DeVito, Fireboy, everything. I'm hearing Afro beats, I'm hearing reggae. The people are peaceful there because look what they listen to. But we're force-fed, satanic, violent. What's this? Tekashi 6ix9ine and all this kind of nonsense and everything. Everyone's death and destruction. Everyone's about murder and everything. And the bottom line is, this is all because you want to be part of America. You want to be part of America. And we let these clowns like Michael Rappaport, let me get are you a fan of Michael Rappaport, Dynasty?
No.
Why is he always in black people's affairs and business?
Because he has a black one.
Oh, I kind of figured that was that piece of shit. I'm sick and tired of the cool white boys, I'm tired of it. It's like, go away, Donald Trump is not our problem. Dudes like you are a problem. White guys like him are a problem. Guys like Bill Maher and Michael Rappaport are the problem. Because we don't know how to focus on things. At least with Donald Trump, there's a line. Okay, you're over there, we're over here. I can live with that. Not no, we're all American. No, we're not all freaking Americans. And like I said, as we build these relationships with these African states and everything, more and more. I don't know what the white guy's going to do. What are they going to do? I said, well, we're not interested in America anymore. We got a Pan-African thing going on. Then what are we going to do? And so, like I said, that's why, like I said, one of the reasons why I wrote this book is because I wanted to change the narrative, right? When you read this novel, right, it's very clear that, yes, historically we made a mistake, but it wasn't really our fault. Remember something, we had World War I, World War II. Black people, yes, they wanted to go to Africa and everything, but the black media, right? The black people, the black boule, the black people who run Black America to this day, we don't control them, whatever. They were against it, right? They were against it. They was like, no, that's stupid, that's dumb and everything. And we need to stay here in America and everything. Why? Because they got a comfortable place in America. They got their little comfort and everything. The comfortable Negro is the most dangerous Negro in the world. He's comfortable. He's comfortable. Not only he's comfortable, like I said, it's one thing to be comfortable in yourself, right? I'm American like that. I feel like, but why are these people always trolling us? Why are they basically like that dude, Black American? Why is he always talking about diners? The problem I have with diners, America. Blah, blah, blah. All right, if you love America, if you got your cowboy hat on and your American flag and everything, and you're sleeping with your red, white, and blue, that's fine. I know nobody said that. But do you ever see me in these guys' chat rooms, these Captain American Negro chat rooms? No. I'm saying, like, you go do you know? Y'all got Massa Biden and everything. Y'all happy. Y'all got Biden. He won everything. So what are you still doing around us? We're saying, oh, you guys got to shut. No, we're not shutting up. We're not going anyplace, you know? Carl never been there. Well, now I've been there for the continent. Now I had an extensive trip over there, you know? I did many interviews, met with top people, and I built a chapter of my organization there. So it wasn't just no trip I went over there. I went over there on a mission. How I did it and an accomplishment. And people look at me and say, man, you did a lot when you was over there. Yeah, I was planning that for months, you know, so I got a lot accomplished. So the bottom line is this, and that's not, I'm not going to stop there. I'm going to go to every single African country and build there. And the bottom line, this idea of us being able to repatriate and build cities and build towns, our own towns on the continent and everything, that's going to be reality soon. You know, so the bottom line is you can say whatever you want and everything. And also history is my witness, you know. When I wrote this book, right, I said like this started my mission, right? I said to myself, what could we have done in history better, right? Then when I discovered Liberia, I said, that was the answer right there. And then, like I said, when my officer said, one of my agents said to me, I never heard of this place. And I'm like, first I got angry. I was going to snap on her, right? But then
I mean, you can't. We're not taught it, Colin.
And
then we're taught that, you know, the evil free slaves brought their white man mindset. You know, that's what we're taught. So to Africa.
All this nonsense and everything. And who puts that out there? The white man, the same white man. The white man wants you to believe no matter how much hell you go, like Malcolm X said, no matter how much hell you go through in America, you're still better off under him. You know, that you don't want to, you can't, it's all about character, right? You know, character. When people have character, right, you will choose the right leader. When somebody says, I want to be a leader, your representative, your president, right? People with good character will always rise to the occasion and choose the right people, right? What happens is when people lose that, right, and people become evil and they become spiteful and they become hateful, they pay for it by electing the wrong people, by choosing the wrong people to lead them. And that's what's happening in Liberia right now, you know? The indigenous people had enough. They wanted a native man. We want native man. You know, we want native man. And they got George Weah. Bless his heart. I love George Weah, but he's not presidential material by no stretch of the imagination, you know? And so, therefore, they got native man. Now everybody's walking away from him. I don't know. No, you guys were out there, same way you were out there when the coup happened, Redemption Road and all stuff like that, you know? Congo, native woman born soldier, Congo woman born thief, all the stuff like that. All that's still the very worst thing that can happen in the black race, you know? It's tribalism and tribal ethnic war and everything. The very worst happens, you know, the very worst that can happen. We have to have it so that people understand. I don't know what it's going to take. I think the only thing that's going to take is people, when the black race finally gets power, which we don't have, right? Because most of Africa looks at it like this. Well, we're still dependent on the West for everything. So why do I need to listen to you? You know, I'm telling you the truth, you know? If you don't have one African country that's industrialized, right? That means there's no right wing in Africa. There's no right wing movement in Africa because Africa is basically a leftist continent because we're dependent. When countries pull themselves up, they become fully developed and industrialized and everything. There becomes a right wing. There's people that believe in the state, industry, military, and everything. The death penalty. All those things that are right wing in the country, borders, the culture and everything, and then people become right wing patriots and everything in their country, then you see Africa getting somewhere, you know. But as long as Africa is dependent on the West and dependent on charity and stuff like that, it's always some buffoons going to always try to think they're going to rise up and
Right.
overthrow, and I could do it better and everything like that. It's happening right now before our eyes. I thought we were done with this. You got people now on social media trying to overthrow Ethiopia. What did Ethiopia do to anybody? I'm like, when does it stop? It don't stop until African countries, it's going to take more than love. It's going to take fear. We really have to get buckled down and say this is not tolerated. Like me, there's people that come to me and say, "Oh, Colin, man, such and such." You know how many times, Dinus, man, I get inboxed with people trying to sway me against Paul Kagame. Paul Kagame. Well, you should see what he did in the '90s. I don't give a goddamn, about the '90s or whatever like that. I look at what he has now. Yeah, but this, that, and the other thing. So you're from the Congo. How come you're not over in the Congo building something? Why aren't you there making sure those people don't get robbed of that gold that is found? Why are you got white people over in the Congo robbing the place black and white, but you don't care about that. All you care about is Paul Kagame. See, that's the freaking the mentality, the mentality we have.
Somebody said Kagame's called Black Hitler.
I mean, that's what I'm talking about. Anytime a black man puts his foot down, right, or puts his foot up somebody's ass, call Kagame will, he breaks his foot up Negro's ass, and he basically says, no, this is the way it is, this is how it's gonna be, every Saturday. Every other Saturday, you're going to have your black ass out there picking up trash, like that, this is the way it's going to be, and this is how it is, they hate that, somehow black people, we just don't like order, I saw that on the plane, they say, okay, roll call. When your seat is called.
Okay, let me ask you this. When you had a layover in Brussels?
Yeah.
Did they? So I'm actually happy that our flight got canceled.
Right.
So we're flying Delta now. So we landed in Brussels. They made everybody get in a line. The line was wrapped 3 times to recheck their COVID paperwork.
Why? I know why. I
don't know. That terminal was stupid. I'm like, you know what? Thank God. Because I'm not gonna lie. I like Charles de Gaulle's a nice airport in Paris, France. So, but I'm just happy as hell. Like I'm not mad that the flight got canceled.
I'll never do Brussels. I'll never do that again.
Yeah, I'm never flying Brussels again.
I'll never do that again. They was like all the Africans. They said all you Africans right there. Check your COVID. I'm like, damn, you just checked the thing before I got on the damn plane.
Yeah. That was odd. So that was, like I said. Thank God they canceled that flight. So I'm like, thank God. So we're flying Delta out of Chicago. Then I guess when we get to Paris, we're flying Air France. It'll be of course, it'll be Air France and Sierra Leone.
That's way better.
Yeah, it's way better.
Check this out. This is funny. When I first got off the plane in Brussels, right? They say, okay, we'll call you by your rows, right? Africans, man. I was like, I didn't know. I was like, next thing you know, everybody just bum rushed the aisle, right?
Yeah, that's what
Yeah. It'll say anyway, when I got off the plane, right? I'm just trying to make small talk. And there's one guy, he's arrogant British Sierra Leonean, right? Guy. He's from Sierra Leone. Oh, bum out clothes. He thought he was a shit, right? Mm-hmm. And he was just going off. He said, Africans are the stupidest race of people on earth, man. He goes, look at this, man. Look how embarrassing that is, man. The lady called the rolls and when everybody goes, brother, black people, that's why we don't got nothing, man. The black race is stupid. I'm sitting there like, well, whatever. And I said, the next thing you know, the guy starts saying, he was just going off on his own. I just said to another guy, I said, who's this guy's problem, man? I said, yo, look. I don't mean to disparage all Sierra Leoneans. He would say he's probably one of the Brits, the British Sierra Leoneans, whatnot. They're arrogant, they think they're better than the rest of black people. He was mad because he probably had to be on a plane with so many Liberians and everybody else,
Right.
So he was just going off when I did. Finally, he had his bag next to mine, right? I was sitting in the back room, right? And all of a sudden, his bag was sitting there, and he's in front of me, right? And he said, "Are you sure you're 6 feet back of me?" And I exploded. I said, man, move your motherfucking bag right next to you. And I said, he's like, oh. I said, man, and also I had everybody laughing. I said, and take them stupid loafers you got on, man. Get some real shoes on, I was like, I was so freaking mad. Everybody, because everybody he was kept going on about black people stupid, man. I just got pissed off, man. He was like, we're a stupid race. We can't.
Hey, Mike said you lying. You know, you making up that story. No one talks like that at the airport. He said you lying.
I did. I actually talked to my boy Naya, right? When I called my boy Naya, I told him about it. He said, "Yo, Colin, man, you don't want to start no altercation at the airport. They'll lock you up." And I said, "Okay, really?" He said, "Yeah, you don't want to talk no altercation at the freaking thing."
Hey, guys, call in. Like, we're taking a couple calls. You know, we'll be on for about 20 more minutes. Call in Uhuru and search for Uhuru.com, Uhuru and search for Uhuru.com. If you want to challenge the caller, by all means, call in and we'll take it from there.
The point I'm trying to make tonight is this. And this Liberia series, right? And we try to tell it like there's nothing to be ashamed of about Liberian history. Black people in America just take pride in their history and whatnot, good and bad and whatever, indifferent and whatnot. That's part of your heritage and everything. You go to Liberia, you'll find places like Edina, you know, that's connection with North Carolina. You'll find places like New Georgia. You find places like Brewerville, all these connections to black settlements in America. You might have some kinfolks in there, you know, kinfolks. My uncle's gonna reach because we have the Hill family that came from Macon County, Georgia, that's settled in New Georgia, right in the hills of Liberia. And so, but and also the people are mixed up with the indigenous people and everything. It's like a big jambalaya of culture. You got the Southern black culture mixed with traditional African culture, and there's a Liberian colloquy. It's someplace that I believe that black people could start and like get their feet wet in Africa, you know, and then branch off to other parts. It's someplace that you don't feel like you're a foreigner. That's what I got from Liberia, is that you do not feel like you're a foreigner. I mean, really, you don't. People just act like it's almost like I was there before Diners, you know, and people. Right. It's almost like people like, well, where have you been? You know, welcome back home. It's like I've been there. You know, it's like people just treated me like I was just one of them. You know, I don't know how it's gonna be when I go to other people, but I hear some other stories like, oh yeah, they treat us good as a foreigner and everything like that. They knew I was. When I got there, I was not treated like a foreigner. I felt like I was just at home. You know, I just this is my home and everything like that. This is part of my thing. You know, this is part of who I am. You know, this is part of my heritage. Really, it's like going to like do you have family in the South, Dinus? Roots in the South?
Yeah, I do in Mississippi.
Mississippi. Okay, I guess right. California. I forgot about that. Yeah, you California people, y'all come from Mississippi and whatnot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, y'all come from
Mississippi and Texas.
Texas, yo, that's what I forgot. Yeah. Anyway, you go to Mississippi, right? You've never been there, right? But you feel like there's some kin. You know, I'm saying, okay, you know that you'll see familiarities and everything. That's how you'll feel when you go to Liberia. You know, it's like a mixture of you. It's like Africa, and then you got Black America in the history of Black America returning Africa. You know, all in one place. So yeah, you definitely basically will feel at home. You'll feel at home, and you'll basically feel like that. So that's what I want to say. I want to just have somebody call in.
Yeah, anybody want to call in? Go ahead, send me an email, call in, hit that like button. Also, like I said, books, Cash App, $20, autograph. I need your address, and then postcard when you super chat. Yeah. So again, if you want to call in, go ahead and call in as well.
So basically, like I said, this trip is the trip. More than a trip, it was just whatever it was, or the mission that I was on when I really opened my eyes and everything. Glad I went. I'm glad it was successful and everything. I got a lot accomplished. I learned a lot, you know, and it's an experience that, you know, no one can take away from me and everything. And so, like I said, now I'm looking forward to other parts of Africa and everything. I don't know if I'll have the same outlook and everything, because, like I said, it was just, I swear to God, I felt like I was there already. You know, maybe because I know so much about Liberia. So when I went there, it was almost like I knew where to go. You know, okay, I want to go to Ducor. Okay, I want to go to Providence Island. Okay, I want to go over here. I want to go over there. I want to go to Tubman's Monument. I want to go here. I knew exactly where to go and stuff like that. And when we were driving through Buchanan, I knew the streets. I knew everything. I knew my way around Monrovia like it was like the back of my hand. You know, like I've been there times. you know, and so the people and stuff like that, you know, it's like I just basically I felt like I was just basically I've been there before. I never left, and so like I said, it's maybe you're reincarnated. Who knows?
Right.
But it was a very good experience and everything. So I would like that. So where's our boy Great African? I thought he was gonna call in debate.
No, he hasn't called in yet. Guys, hit that like button. He hasn't sent the link yet. So, well.
Yeah, so I'm in my book, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I want to stress when you buy we buy the book and people ask, well, why? And they ask me why I wrote it and everything. And like I tell people all the time, you know, the conventional narrative is that there was no other alternative but to America. And if you look at right now, what I do like is the African American Encyclopedia now, right? Now has Liberia as a real full Liberia history in there, you know, connected with Black America. That is a real that's progress, Dinus, you know.
Right.
But the World Book Encyclopedia, right, basically gives Liberia like half a paragraph. They give the Garvey movement one little paragraph, right? Any movement dealing with Black people, this is how they control us, right?
Right.
Any movement, basically, Black people saying it's time for us to leave or repatriation, and people don't realize people were emigrate. Black people were emigrating to Liberia all the way up until 1983, even after the coup. You know, yeah. So make a base. Yeah, Liberia is a Pan-African base. You know, in Africa. You know, that's our Pan-African base. To me, that's the entryway into Africa. Other countries have their own alternative stuff already set up and everything like that. They got so much stretch and everything. Liberia could be an excellent base to engage the rest of the continent. So, anything dealing with Black people and the narrative that we're not basically singing "We Shall Overcome" and
Mm-hmm.
"I Prize" and everything, which I hate or which I really hate, is basically written out of history.
All right.
And what gets me is, okay, we understand white people. They're trying to sell America, even white liberals. This is another thing people don't really understand. The white liberals are the main ones, right? Trying to create this narrative of America. The white liberals are the biggest defenders of America, right? They basically believe that they are America's is good country and it's a benevolent country and everything. And
Right.
we have a few racists in here. That's the problem. So if we get rid of the white racists and the Black troublemakers, right? And we have this perfect country, which is a lie. And this is why they have to put Barack Obama up there. You know, you ever see white people when they see Barack and Michelle? What do they say? What is the typical white liberal when they see Barack and Michelle? Ah, ah. They just they're in awe. Barack and Michelle, you know, they Barack and Michelle. I said, what do they do? I miss. Did you hear? When the white people they see Stacey Abrams and whatnot, you know, oh, I'm just so the way she walks out and everything, you know. Now you got Al Sharpton, you know, Reverend Al, you know, Reverend
Al
Al,
Sharpton. Rise up.
the Reverend, his book
Gonna
is
rise up.
Rise Up, Reverend Al.
We're gonna rise up.
Reverend's gonna rise up, you know. So I'm basically it's just a mess. Barack and Michelle, white people just love it, you know, love it.
Mm-hmm.
They love Barack and Michelle. They're like, oh, oh my God, Barack Obama, you know, Michelle Obama. Oh yes, what they say? I don't know, but just like that, you know, and it's all about them trying to absolve themselves from racism and everything, you know. It's
All right.
all their my book is called Journey to the Promised. Put a book in it. Book is called Journey.
Put it in the show a picture of it, Colin.
Okay, there's a picture right here. Journey to the Promised Land. Voyage of the Bark Azor. The bark is called the ship. The bark is a ship, a 3 mainsail ship. The Azor was the ship they bought, 1878 from Charleston, South Carolina. That's called Journey to the Promised Land. Voyage of the Bark Azor. As my name, Dwayne McCullough.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's the name of the book. You know, that's the name of the book. So we got any callers, Linus?
No callers. What we'll do, we'll go ahead and close out.
Okay. What a boring night. No calls, man. Nobody for me to argue with tonight.
Yeah, no one wants to argue, bro.
No one else to argue. Darn.
Yeah, so we'll go ahead and close out. Anything else you'd like to share in closing?
Well, yeah, just get my book on Amazon or Ex Libris, you know, Journey to the Promised Land. And like I said, my social network site. If you really want to be part of our movement in Liberia, Dynasty, post a link to me. Post a link to my social network. You know, we are growing by leaps and bounds. So I've done this trip, you know, and you have to have my boy Ross on. You know, I can't wait.
Yeah, I finally talked to him today.
Oh, what did he say? You talked to him?
He's been tied up. You know, he's been tied up.
He's somebody that could explain to you better than I can the purpose of Liberia, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You know, the purpose of Liberia, you know? And he'll tell you all the stuff like that. He said Liberia, and this is one thing I want you to take away from this, right? People want to take away. Liberia, and this is another thing these Liberians, like not a lot of Liberians today don't understand. Liberia was supposed to be a place for liberty. Any black man could come there. Right now, Liberians are persecuting Nigerians that were Nigerians, but they love Liberia. Instead of letting them love Liberia and become Liberians, we're not. No, you're not Liberian. That's the indigenous mindset, you know. You know, and when the America so-called settlers had the country, any black man could come there and become a Liberian, become a citizen. You know,
right?
But we had a race-first mentality. So therefore, that's what we had going for. Like that's the only place in the world where you could come as a black man and become a citizen and build. You know, and it's still gonna be like I said. We're gonna win this thing. We're gonna defeat the tribalists. You know, and the ethno idiots. You know, and everything. We're gonna make Liberia that base. That's what Liberia's purpose is. You know, Liberia want to know where's wealth and power purposes. Its purpose is to be the refuge of black people from around the world who want to connect with the rest of Africa, right? You shouldn't have to go directly to Nigeria and all these other countries. Liberia should be the place where we engage Africa from America. That's what Liberia's purpose is. When Liberia realizes that, you'll see its fortunes. You know, you'll see investment. You'll see us putting money and time and everything into Liberia, you know?
Right. Everyone, thank you so much for joining. Like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, family, Dynasty Mirror Search for Hulu.
Peace.